877-381-3811. When I heard Christine O'Donnell speak on one of these YouTube deals, and I looked into the substance of her background, I decided, now wait a minute, this is an awfully quiet race. Why is this such a quiet race? Here we have a candidate who supports the Constitution running against a candidate who's a liberal. Why should I shut up about that? So it caught my attention. And I want to welcome Christine O'Donnell. How are you, my friend? And congratulations to you.
Oh, Mark, thank you so much. And I sincerely mean that, because you were the first one out. You were the first one to sound the clarion call that we have got to put party principles over party power. So you led the bandwagon, and that gave the folks in Delaware here much-needed boost of encouragement and momentum, and then, you got your fellow colleagues involved, and it all peaked at the perfect time, and wow, we not only won, we won big, and we sent a loud message to the folks in Washington.
Well, I want you to know something, because you hear a lot of negative stuff coming out of the Beltway. I'm extremely proud of you. I am extremely proud of the way you ran this race. You tried to stick to the substance. These people were trying to rip you down. All these tough guys with their computers behind the scenes and in the shadows, talking to each other, going to their little bars together, having a good old laugh. While you kicked their butts, you kicked that chairman of the Republican Party in Delaware, one of the most vicious smear merchants I've ever heard in my life. Right. And now you're going to run. You're going to do, I know, you'll do the very best you can. And I just want to congratulate you, because I know how painful it had to be to go through it.
Well, it was frustrating that, that the race had to take that turn. But I sincerely mean this. As we went up and down the campaign trail and we would meet veterans, especially our wounded veterans, and hear their stories and hear about how they love America, they love our freedom, they love our liberty, and risking their lives was a small price to pay, you realize that we are fighting for the same freedoms. It's just a different kind of battle. So, if I have to take some hits in terms of slander and character assassination, then so be it, because these folks have risked a lot more, and we're fighting for the same America, and that's what's exciting about all this, because there's hope. I truly believe that there's something special sweeping across the land, and I'm optimistic about the future of our country once again.
Well, you're doing exactly what a citizen patriot does. You're running in, nobody's handing you this race. You're having to earn every vote that you get. You're running in a state that has more registered Democrats, and yet Reagan won it twice.
Right.
It's possible if the backbencher loser types in the Republican Party and the pseudo-conservatives would get off your back and let you run without handing sound bites to your opponent. I'm going to deal with Rove later, believe me. I'm going to deal with him later on the show. I don't want to get you in trouble. I was watching Hannity. My jaw hit the ground. I said, holy, but I need to tell you something. I've been around in the conservative movement for 40 years. I was in the Reagan administration for 8. I campaigned for him in 76 and 80. The Reaganites do not behave this way.
Right.
The Reaganites do not behave this way. I see some of the Bush guys, don't answer this, I don't want you to get in trouble, just listen to me. I hear some of these Bush guys popping off. They got to have a little more class, like the Reagan guys. As a matter of fact, I contacted a bunch of my Reagan buddies, some of the old Reagan guys, and they contacted me. And you know what they said to me? You tell Christine O'Donnell today, keep it up, girl, because we're very supportive of you. 90% of them. So I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, that's a much-needed encouragement today. I really appreciate that, because this is what we've got to do is unify the party. We sent a very loud message that we've got to get back to the principles, but now that we've heard that message, now that that message has been so clearly delivered, let's unite around those principles on which our party was founded, and let's win this election, because there's a greater good at stake. And for the greater good of the fight before us, we have got to put this behind us. We've got to take the high road. And I hope that when some of the dust settles and the emotions, subside, that's exactly what will happen.
Well, I fear your opponent is going to pick up where some of these, people who sit in their basement in their boxer shorts and write things on blogs. I think your opponent's going to pick up on all that. Your opponent's going to use what they've written. And the point is, the extent to which you can get this on substance, you have a good shot at winning, because the American people, and that includes the people of Delaware, have had enough of this.
Right.
They are suffering the same way. You have high unemployment there, foreclosure rates high, bankruptcy is high. It's going on in Delaware, too. The people want to change, right?
Absolutely. And not only that, but in a state like Delaware, where you can go from top to bottom in about 2 hours, we can make it our goal and actually reach that goal to be in every county every week. So as these smear tactics are going on, I can make myself available to the voters, give them an opportunity to get to know me, have an opportunity to get to know them, hear what's on their hearts, what's on their minds, what's concerning them this election cycle. And that's a strategic advantage that this state has, because we can really run a grassroots campaign where the voters know you and they trust you, and when they hear this stuff going on, I mean, even with all this stuff with my primary campaign, so many people told me that because they had an opportunity to meet me and get to know me and hear me present my positions, they'd say, that didn't sound like you. That didn't sound like the Christine O'Donnell that we got to meet and got to follow up and down the campaign trail. So that's the strategy we're going to take with us going into the campaign trail, or going into the general election. But the biggest lesson that I hope my general election opponent takes from all this is that my primary opponent hung himself with his own noose. His mudslinging backfired on him. So as we move forward into the general election, I hope we can get back to the business of figuring out how we're going to bring private sector jobs back to Delaware, how we're going to balance the budget and tackle that mounting national debt, how we're going to make America great again for future generations, because that's what's on everybody's minds right now.
I want you to know, and that's a very intelligent way to approach this, because the American people have had enough of the mudballs, they've had enough of Washington, they've had enough of the masterminds, self-appointed masterminds. They want somebody who's down to earth, who's going to address their issues, and who is going to uphold the Constitution. Now, Morton Blackwell, a conservative icon, a dear friend of mine, Reaganite since 1968, told me that you are a terrific person. You went through the Leadership Institute, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. I've gone to several of the Leadership Institute schools.
Rebecca Hagelin, who has a wonderful piece up now on, I believe it's, I forget the name of it, but we have it linked to on my social sites. She knows you extremely well. She's a solid conservative, a person of faith. She's come to your defense. I could go on and on and on about people who are not writing all these nasty things or aren't pointing to themselves. Look at me. And here's the bottom line. All those people who attacked you, they lost.
Right.
They're not relevant. They don't matter. Certainly not in Delaware.
Yeah, they don't know the voters in Delaware, and again, hopefully we can put all this behind us. But Rebecca Hagelin, yeah, she was my first boss when I went down to Washington, D.C. I was in my early 20s then, and I lived in her basement for about 3 months. She's a great woman. We go way back. She's a great role model for a lot of conservative women in politics. Rebecca Hagelin has helped pave the way.
But I'm saying this because I want people to understand that you have deep roots in the conservative movement. I'll give you another one, Concern Women for America. Didn't you work with them?
Yes, I did. I worked as their press secretary in the mid-'90s. And
didn't their PAC contribute money to your campaign?
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I know it's going to be a tough road, but an exciting road. You are a very exciting candidate. The people of Delaware are lucky to have this opportunity now to actually choose between a conservative Republican and a left-wing. You want to talk about a goofball, a left-wing goofball Democrat. And I'm hoping that our friends at the Weekly Standard and National Review and Powerline and all these other places, I hope they'll actually take a look at your opponent now. Oh,
did you know that there was a report put out today? I forget. I've been given so many articles, but there was a quote from Harry Reid calling my Democrat opponent his new pet. He actually called him my pet. I mean,
Good.
Wow. I mean, you couldn't gift wrap that and hand me a better present right now.
Well, that Harry Reid, he's going to have his own problems because there's a magnificent candidate running against him, Sharon Engel, and he's going to get whipped, I hope and I believe, and so he'll have to visit his pet in Delaware, as they're both hopefully private citizens. So what is your website again?
My website is Christine2010.com, and we're reaching out to people all across the country once again, and it's been exciting. Our website got so many hits that it crashed, and I heard that.
Rush put out the word, earlier today.
Did he really? Is that what happened? Well, I know that we raised in the last 24 hours more than we raised this whole campaign. Mm-hmm. We raised, last I heard, about $300,000. I just got a text saying that we raised $500,000, but I didn't recognize the number, so I said, "Who is this? Can I confirm that?" But either way, the post-game analysis that's going on has really ignited a fire in people all across the country to get behind this race and make sure that the message that we sent to Republicans, and not just Republicans, but party establishment on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, had been out of touch. We want to make sure that that message is heard even in November. And, we're going to unify the Republican Party, and we're going to sprint towards victory. And so many people have gotten involved that that's a news story in its own, that in one day we raised more than we did this whole election so far.
And I heard Hannity today, and we're trying to bring people to your website. Let me tell you this. Here's the quote from The Hill. Harry Reid. Let's see here. Let me just see. I'm going to be very honest with you. Well, that'll be a first. Chris Coons, everybody knows him in the Democratic caucus. He's my pet. He's my favorite candidate. Oh, my gosh. That's a good one.
Wow.
All right, so there you go. That's in the Hill as of a couple hours ago. Especially
because one of the focuses that originally came to this race was because the winner gets to serve in Harry Reid's lame duck session. Mm-hmm. So here's his pet, who is going to continue these failed policies, these big spending liberal agenda. And, I recently heard a report that the DREAM Act is going to come up in the lame duck session.
Harry Reid says he wants to bring it up. That's right.
And, well, who do you want serving in there? Someone who successfully took on the establishment and said principles are more important and proved that there's power in the principles, or someone who's Harry Reid's pet?
Well, actually, he may want to bring it up even before the election. So you'll have to ask Harry Reid's pet where he stands on that.
That's right. I will. I think I think we have a candidate for him tomorrow night, so I'll certainly try to bring that up.
So I guess from now on he's Harry Reid's pet. All right. Well, all right, Christine. Well, God bless you, and you keep it up. All right.
Mark, you've been such a great champion. I can't thank you enough. This is as much your victory as it is ours. Because
no, it's yours.
You were the one speaking the truth when other people were still hedging their bets, and your optimism and ability to see the potential here was able to. You brought other people on board, and that's just such a courageous, generous attitude, and we're going to keep up that momentum and keep up that spirit and finish in November.
All right, go get them.